Hey, we didn't get to podcast last week, DJ, and the only thing what I'm really upset about is there were so many things. I was going to start that podcast by saying I don't know what to talk about because there were so many things. You had just had, I should say, your wife just had a baby. The NFL had this crazy COVID outbreak, and that was just dominating the news. There was one other thing I forgot what it was, but I was like, dude, I don't even know where to start. But now that the COVID thing is kind of old, people don't want to hear about it. That leaves us with your kid to start this thing off. So I got to ask you, DJ, what are the odds that your new kid makes his Loaded Box podcast debut tonight?
0. I got this shit under control. I'm king of the house. I make sure my wife keeps that thing on me. No, keeps that thing out of my podcast room, which is my bedroom tonight, because my other kids watching a movie, and I'm like, bitch, you better keep that kid down there. 0% chance.
Daddy's drinking. Let's get loaded because this is the Loaded Box podcast,
where we never finish first because we finish last.
Welcome back after a week hiatus to the Loaded Box podcast. It's Ben Morgan. I'm pouring my beer. That's DJ Primo. He's not pouring his beer. DJ, what the hell just happened there?
I forgot to even again, my life is a whirlwind right now. I forgot to get beer. I don't have any beer. I don't know how to operate. I'm just drinking water. I just housed the whole fucking king size Kit Kat.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you about, because back a few podcasts ago, I had made fun of you because earlier in that day you had texted me like, hey, man, I really need to get in shape and all this. And then that day you proceeded to have McDonald's and followed up with pizza while we podcasted. And then today, before we started, you're like, dude, I'm just going to house a whole king size Kit Kat bar. What's happening? You have kid number 2 and you just totally embrace the dad bod.
I just can't. What can I do? I can't fucking do anything. I'm barely drinking, so I've been eating ice cream and Kit Kat bars, and I'm fucked. I'm fucked.
Sometimes admitting defeat is just the only way to go. You're just like, all right, I'm just gonna live my rest of my life as just a blob of jelly.
This is the problem, because I have a dog who's a blue heeler, who's a cattle dog and needs to run around, and his ass is about to get fat and lazy too because he doesn't do shit all day.
I had a roommate back in the day. Whenever it would get cold out, he would go out on the deck with a laser pointer, and he'd make the dog chase the laser pointer. So hey, there's a little tip for you if you want to use it.
I tried that with a flashlight, and my dog doesn't give a shit about it.
Got to get the laser pointer upgrade, you asshole.
Yeah, I guess.
DJ, it's week 16 in the NFL season. After last week, I'm kind of slacking on my game. I totally don't even have my other sheet up right now, so I don't know what our records are. So if you have it up, feel free to enlighten us as to what those are. I know last week I kind of got pretty weak with everything. I picked one game, but dude, the schedule was so hard.
The last 2 weeks you didn't do anything.
2 weeks ago I did like 3 or 4 games, but last week was so hard because there was so much uncertainty with COVID. Like, I wasn't even mad that we couldn't podcast, because if we recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, so much shit happened with COVID before that.
So you didn't win or lose anything compared to the last 2 weeks. You just ended up even. So you're right back to where you were at 5.2 units or whatever. So nothing changed. And then it was like the same thing for me. I went 500 both of the last 2 weeks, and I'm in the exact same spot that I was originally too.
Gotcha. And I think I'm still hitting like 60% on the season. So a little self brag there. I don't know what you're at, but I think it's below 500.
Yeah, I'm a minus 0.4 units. You're at 5.2. That's all that matters really in my head.
That's really what we say, though. It's like, one way or another, we're making you money. You could listen to us and make money if we win. Otherwise, if you think we're wrong, just freaking fade the shit out of us and win that way.
I mean, it wouldn't work for me because I'm 3-3. So the last 2 weeks.
Lose the grease regardless. DJ, the first 3 games that we're going to talk about all sort of tie into each other, but we're going to kick it off with this Packers game first and foremost, because dude, it's the staple of the show. It's what you're going to do, and it's a Saturday game, so it's going to be played beforehand. So it kind of works nice to do it in order. It's a Christmas game. You're right. It's a Christmas miracle if the Browns win this, and you're obviously taking the Packers.
Yeah, they didn't cover last week, so pretty much a guarantee. They're 11-3 on the year against the spread. Didn't cover this last week. Seems like they should have, but then They didn't. It was weird. Huntley looked good, better than Lamar Jackson. I'm putting that out there into the universe. I think Huntley is either going to take a spot or get a big contract somewhere, like was it the Matt Flynn situation behind Aaron Rodgers when he come in and light it up and different thing. But I think he's better. I think he's actually good. He throws the ball on time, things like that. I'm talking about the Packers, but right now I'm on a Ravens rant. But I mean, what do I need to say? I always take the Packers minus 7.5, so I might as well talk about the Ravens. I just take them. I don't need to analyze because I'm just going to say the same thing over and over again. The only worry is that their run game is extremely strong. But as long as Kenny Clark, who missed his last game, and that's why the Ravens were supposed to able to run so well on us, he should be back for this next game, which helps dramatically. Kenny Clark's one of the best defensive. He got to the Pro Bowl, one of the best defensive tackles in all of the NFL. He makes a huge difference. Any non-Packer fan wouldn't understand. That's probably why they struggle to stop the run, as they've been good against the run most of the year. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing good about the Browns really, and the Packers offense is just completely unstoppable at this point. So all you can do is try to control the ball like the Ravens did, and it still didn't really work because they ended up not able to stop the Packers. But Tyler Huntley throws the ball on time, still has the athletic ability, not as athletic as Lamar, but not super far off.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a better quarterback. Oh, yeah. He's a better quarterback. He throws it on time. He throws it accurately. He throws it to his best player.
Yeah, he throws it to Mark Andrews over and over
he runs when he
and
needs
over
to.
again.
It's great.
Speaking of the Browns, so we're recording this. What is it? Like, my days are messed up. It's Wednesday evening.
12:22.
That game on Monday night, what was worse, watching that game or the latest COVID outbreak? Like, holy shit, that was tough. That was tough. Got a little wild at the end.
The COVID outbreak is still happening.
At least that football game is over. That's one good thing. Kareem Hunt seems. Oh God, Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins. Oh God.
Kareem Hunt sounds very doubtful for this game. Not that he's going to be like a spread changer by any means. Anyways, I'll pop this next one up on the little scroll here for the Twitter Live and the YouTube fans, because I'm with you on this one, but I just put the Packers as part of my tease. DJ, I can take 6 points off this spread and make the Packers only have to win by 2. That's
what I don't understand is how you did it every week last year with them, but this year you didn't when they're 11-3 against the spread. It doesn't. I think you wouldn't have lost a teaser maybe with them the entire year.
Well, 1, my teasers have still been good, and 2, I'm just testing it out. You got to test it out and see how it goes. And then this week I pounce on it. It's my end of the season Packers teaser. I'm just waiting, DJ.
Just waiting for what?
The end of the season. I'm going 0.3 units on this thing. I like the Packers. On the other half of my teaser, I'm bumping the Lions up to 12 versus the Falcons. And that's why I said these first games that we're talking about all tie to each other, because you have the Lions on their original spread in the next game, and we can kind of just bleed right into that. I don't have to add too much about the Packers. It's against the Browns. I got to win by 2. Book that. The Lions. That game against the Cardinals last week, this is the weirdest thing I've ever said on the podcast. The Lions against the Cardinals was never in doubt, and it was never in doubt that the Lions were going to win. The Cardinals damn near didn't score in that game. They kicked like 2 29-yard field goals, and then they got a garbage touchdown to Christian Kirk. A garbage touchdown against the Lions. That blows my mind.
You can't tell me with your gambling brain that you didn't want to live bet Arizona money line the entire fucking time.
Dude,
I considered it 74 times.
It's lucky that the Dolphins were playing at the same time, because I was trying to work in, like, when am I going to live bet Miami? And that was taking away all of my attention, because had I not had that situation, you're right, I would have lost a fortune betting on the Cardinals there.
I didn't do it because I don't trust fucking Kyler Murray. I don't trust him. Cliff Kingsbury, don't trust him. Look like an idiot. Kyler Murray. I don't know why they can't score in the red zone. What's that all about? Like, for them, that should be their best area with his mobility between Edmonds and Connor, and then AJ Green and the little wide receivers he's there. You've got so many options to option read and throw out of that and run with Kyler. how are you not scoring when you have that running threat in him
Right.
and the option to throw the ball? You have Zach fucking Ertz in the red zone, who's a great red zone tight end. None of it makes sense to me. I don't get it, but they've been terrible. They haven't scored in red zone
Weird.
lately. It's just been bad. It's been really bad. I don't know. I don't like Kyler Murray. I'm a noted Kyler Murray hater, and I'm also a noted Lamar Jackson hater. And right now, I always at some point look good, and it's great because they start out real hot and then they come off this trajectory where they're really shitty.
Yeah, and you didn't even need to spread it out. You're just doubling down on it now because both of them are just in this terrible spiral. Like,
it's awesome.
What's happening with? Well, we'll talk more about the Cardinals here in a second because I see that we're both on opposite ends of their game this week. But I'll just trash talk the Falcons a little bit here. I don't really know what they're good at this point in time. They somehow woke up Cordero Patterson, and it doesn't matter. Like, he's this threat that can get it done on the ground and in the air. And then this report comes out that they're going to start limiting his touches. For what?
Yeah, he's old as fuck.
Why are we limiting Cordero Patterson's usage? Are you saving him for next year? Like, do you just like this playoff push? None of this is relevant, in my opinion. The Falcons should have treated Cordero Patterson how like dynasty owners treated him on a team that like wasn't ready to compete this year. Sell the shit out of him. Get anything for that. Is that sustainable? Is that something they're trying to build this offense like by drafting Pitts? It's almost like this positionless offense, kind of like what we see in like the NBA, like positionless basketball.
Whatever the Falcons are doing.
Hold on one second. Patterson fits that, but you can find other guys that fit that. Do you need it to be Cordero Patterson?
No, because what the Falcons are doing is the most wrong and backwards thing to do. They have Mike Davis, Cordero Patterson, all these, older guys. You don't need those guys. You're starting over. Why do you have Matt Ryan? Like, what?
You fill in those pieces when you have the rest.
Right. You have Kyle Pitts, and you need to get young right now. You're not going anywhere. So let's rebuild.
Right.
Kyle Pitts. Trade for those trade Cordero Patterson for those fucking draft picks that you need. There's no point. Like, why bring in Mike Davis? The Dolphins do this though too. They bring in these old ass running backs, which doesn't make any sense to me. But it's like, what are you doing? But I don't know. I like the Lions plus 5.5 because they're finally believing. I only got 0.1 unit, but they're playing solid, and I just don't believe the Falcons should ever be favored by 5.5 points. They may win. Kyle Pitts is
that
good.
Line was that big. That seems like such a big line, especially after last week. Like when the Falcons
could be a rat.
Like you could be, because if you go off of like what happened recently, we saw the Falcons lose.
Yeah.
We saw the Lions have like one of the upsets of the year. How is this line not bigger?
Yeah, I'm chasing the cheese here. I do have one rat that I'm going the opposite of. This one I'm just chasing the cheese on this one as the rat line. But I just think the Lions right now, they're like, I don't know, they're and they get Swift and Jamal Williams both back, it sounds like, this week. So
potentially they both practiced today.
Yeah, so it's weird. And DeAndre Swift almost played last week. So it's interesting. Jamal Williams is just coming off of the COVID list, so he'll probably be fully back. But it's too many points. It doesn't make any sense to me for the Falcons to be favored by that much.
No, let's go into this next one. We kind of previewed it by talking about Kyler, but DJ, I'm going opposite of you on this one. And the reason I'm nervous is because you're doing your 0.7 unis, and that's your go-to. Like, I'm hammering bet. I'm only 0.2 units. The line is a pick 'em. I'm taking the home team, taking the Cardinals. It's football, man. This is when football evens out. It's the bounce back for the Cardinals. It's the letdown for the Colts. We saw the Colts. They kind of took it to New England, right? Like, it wasn't. Statistically, with the score before the Taylor run, like, they took it to them. The Patriots weren't in that game, and the Cardinals weren't in their game. I think I'm getting a break on the line on this one because of football. Here's the deal, DJ. Kyler put up a stinker in the opening round of the fantasy playoffs last week. If you somehow survived that and made it to this round, you were going to.
You didn't.
I did not. Fuck off. If you did, though, you are going to be rewarded handsomely. Like, it's going to be like this huge bounce back. I'm thinking they bounce back real nice here. I think at home against the Colts, I think we're overvaluing the Colts still a little bit. Yes, they're better. I will give them that. Jonathan Taylor, if you threw away all the quarterbacks, is probably your league MVP. But if you really boil it down and be able to take him away, you say it with me, DJ. Carson Wentz is going to do what Carson Wentz does. He's going to start feeling himself. He's going to mess this up. I love the Cardinals pick here.
But Kyler Murray does that the entire game. He tries to do too much and has turnovers. But really, when it comes down to the Colts know what they are. So if they want to take it out of Wentz's hand and don't let him play hero ball like he tries to do at the end, they can do that. If you can run for 170 yards on the Patriots and win that game by just running the ball with Jonathan Taylor, I'm not worried about the Cardinals. They're going to run it down their throat again, just like they are doing to everybody else. They have a really good defense. If the Cardinals are struggling, if they're struggling against the freaking Lions to score points, the Lions right now, and who they played 2 weeks ago, they struggled again. Kyler hasn't had a good. I can't remember last time. I've had Kyler in a touchdown league for a while, and he sucked. So I can't remember the last time he's been good. So I've said this. Kyler is who Kyler is. Cliff Kingsbury's, he's the guy who got fired at his alma mater type of situation. I'm going to take the hot team going towards the playoffs. Like there's no weeks off. There's no relaxing for a team like this. Michael Pittman got ejected last game. I projected a pretty solid game for him here just to make up for getting kicked out of the game last week. I don't know how he got kicked out of that game. He was just getting
beat
up by multiple people. Like it didn't make any sense. He really didn't do anything besides get attacked by multiple guys.
Yeah. He got pushed from behind. He got punched. There was something else that happened to him, and he didn't really do much retaliation. And he also
he got his helmet taken off.
He got his helmet taken off. Yeah.
Yeah,
he got robbed.
It was he was Mason Rudolph helmet smash away from dying. I don't know. It was ridiculous. I watched it afterwards and I was like, how did Pittman get kicked out of that game brutal. For mauled by 8 Patriot? That wasn't very Patriot-like. That was very un-American of the Patriots.
It was very un-American, very uncalled for too. That was like an example.
Got to ride with the hot team.
That was just an example, though, of the refs just being like, all right, we're going to set the tone on both sides. Both of these guys were involved. But if they could watch it back, they'd be like, Pittman was just an innocent bystander that happened to look upset. Like, and yeah, I would be upset too. He got fucked.
The Patriots were frustrated. They lost their cool and took it out on Pittman, and multiple guys got involved. And I was like, what? This just looks like a guy getting jumped in the back alley right now. Like, how is he getting kicked out? Like, how is he going to be the guy that goes to jail when he's the one getting jumped?
That's the huge Michael Pittman's son, right? That used to be in the league. Remember the guy that had like the neck muscles that came up to his ear?
No.
Michael Pittman?
You can say it 3 times. I still won't get it.
Michael Pittman. You don't remember Michael Pittman?
No, not at all.
Oh, I'm going to kick you in your ass for not knowing this. Unbelievable. Well, I'm not going to go there with that then. I'll go somewhere else.
Is he white or something?
Dude, just Google search Michael Pittman deltoid. I think it's a deltoid. If you type up like world's
is it a deltoid or trapezius?
One of the two. I don't know. I don't even remember which one's which. A trap is like on your side, right? Is a deltoid by your neck?
Know. I thought you're the one that lifts weights.
That's why you lift all those weights. Dude, you know this guy when you see him. I'm pretty sure it's his dad. They have the same name.
The running back?
Yeah. Cardinals, maybe?
Buccaneers?
Buccaneers, yes.
I don't know who that is.
You're lying.
He's got really big arms, but I wouldn't say deltoids.
Okay, there's a photo somewhere of his fucking deltoid.
Yeah, there probably
DJ, where
is.
I was going with this, all I was going to say is those dudes for New England that bullied his son, Jesus. They're all laying in a ditch somewhere right now because that old man just crushed their ass.
Probably. Yeah, okay, there's like a picture of him shirtless, and he's just gigantorous in general.
Yeah, and that was
before. There it is. There it is. Yeah.
Is that a deltoid?
I don't fucking know. I didn't look up the
Let's just assume it's a deltoid. It's touching the bottom of his ear, right?
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah, it doesn't look. It looks like a deformity almost.
It's like someone put an air pump into his neck and just started pumping it until it went up.
They got out of control. Yeah, that was a weird one. He doesn't look. He looks like he should still be in the NFL then.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that he could just take a sun spot and just be cool with it. But anyway, Let's move on to
Penny
the
oil.
next one because we are also on opposite ends of this one, which blows my mind, DJ. The resident Vikings hater is
This
taking
is it. This is the rat right here.
this is your okay, this is your rat. So the Rams are favored by 3. I'm taking the favorite. You're taking the dog in the Vikings. I got 0.2 units on it. You got 0.4 units on it. So you think so let me guess. You're thinking that this is a rat line because the Vikings played in a very sloppy game against the Bears and won, and the Rams just played on primetime Tuesday night football and
They're
won.
hot.
Yeah.
And they're hot right now. They beat the Cardinals a couple weeks back. And but what I know about the Rams is their weakness is that run defense, and what I know about the Vikings is they have one of the best running backs in the NFL. And then Jalen Ramsey can't cover both Adam Thielen, who's going to be back, and Justin Jefferson at the same time. So that's also a kryptonite for them because you can take advantage of that other cornerback. I saw the Packers do it. So they do have issues with this type of team. That's kind of balanced, and obviously with the running back, they kind of get undisciplined in the running game. And then if you can kind of keep them on their heels and give yourself time to throw, you've got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen on the other end of that receiving game. Plus the fact that I think so many people are going to be on the Rams since it's only 3 points.
Right.
I get a home dog. And to me, I wanted to take the Rams originally, and that's like I switched it in my head. I'm like, no, that's square pick. I'm not taking the Rams -3. That is a square pick. That's a bad pick. I almost want to up the units on this one. I'm so confident the Vikings are going to cover or win this game.
I think just statistically speaking, I don't have it in front of me, so just go with me here. The Vikings are like one of the worst teams against opposing wide receivers. And Cooper Kupp just set like the franchise record for most catches in the season. He's about to do like if he either has the yards or he's about to, and he has like 14 receiving touchdowns this year. He's going to go off. Odell Beckham on the other side.
Not if they run and control the ball.
That could happen. But Odell scored in like 2 or 3 games in a row prior to last week. And then now you're getting a little bit more healthy with a running attack too, because now you got both Henderson and Michelle. And Sony Michel looks like the running back that we all kind of thought he was going to be out of Georgia. That's kind of a welcome gift for them at this point in time, because it's the old cliche thing. Well, as Thanksgiving and Christmas hit and weather gets a little bad in some places, you need to be able to run the ball, and they can kind of do that now. The Rams have some balance on their own. I just think,
and the Vikings,
that Vikings performance was just so lackluster.
They play up to their opponent. They always do. And
they do. It's always a close game with the Vikings, right? I mean, every game is close as shit. But oh my God, these primetime games that we got spoiled with 2 Monday and 2 Tuesday games, and
I know it's so weird to not have NFL. I'm almost upset that I don't have an NFL game to watch tonight.
My wife made a comment about that. She was asking what we were doing tonight, and I said we were podcasting. She goes, "Oh, there's not an NFL game on?" That's what my wife sounds like.
I wish.
Oh no! So I don't know. It's I just think it's almost too good to be true. I always kind of say this is that time of the year when the playoff teams, you got to start to separate. You gotta get into your lane. You got to find your lane, and the teams that aren't really playoff caliber kind of fall back to those teams. And I see the Rams as that team that is going to make the playoffs, can make a run. Whereas the Vikings, I'm like, God, they kind of just fell into this 7 seed right now in the NFC, and I don't think it's there to stay. Not that they're on the decline or anything, but I think the Rams are a better team. I think we see them elevate their play this week, whereas the Vikings, as the worser team, just end up getting beat by that better team. And 3's not enough points, so I'm going to get it while it's 3.
Any given Sunday, Ben, if you're a decent team, you can beat a good team on any week.
Yeah, look at the Lions.
This is a rat line. Yeah, that's just a bad loss. Again, obviously the Rams are a better football team. The Packers were a better football team than the Vikings, and they lost. Like that doesn't. In that case, it just, it was something that I wasn't shocked about happening in that game. So, Minnesota at home. It's probably a noon game too, which makes it even more Vikings. Kirk Cousins plays usually a good game when he's like not getting watched by everybody in the world. And then just Dalvin Cook. I know that this Rams defense struggles to stop the run. I think that's going to be a huge issue. And that's, again, it's a rat line. I wanted to take the Rams immediately. And I was like, I started to type it. I was like, wait, flip this shit.
Oh,
this
God.
isn't right.
I love the fact that the start time of this game made your analysis and was part of the reason why you want to take it. Noon, baby. Kirk Cousins
Gotta
nooner.
do it.
Let's finally get to a
A.
game that we're both not on. You predicting a little bounce back here for the Buccaneers that got shut out last week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we all know I took the Saints last week. Ben forgot to add it to my card when I tweeted it, and I sent it to him, and he put out the tweet. But I did take the Saints last week because they're just, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Their defense is Tom Brady's kryptonite. And
Yes.
it's like, oh yeah, Mike Evans got hurt, Chris Godwin got hurt. They were there, 7 weeks ago when they played the Saints, in that game, and they still, Tom Brady sucks against the Saints. Like they are able to get to him, bringing 4 and hit him and talk shit, and he gets so mad, and I love it. And I think my favorite thing about that game was, like, I didn't have to fucking watch Tom Brady do his stupid smiley videos the next day afterwards that he always does about winning. It's like,
did you see that guy for the Saints? You see the guy for the Saints that was smiling in his face?
Right in his grill.
Oh, that's a tough thing to do, man. I wouldn't ever do that. I don't care if I picked him. If I had 6 pick sixes in a game against him, I still wouldn't do that. I feel like it'd come back to haunt me at some point.
Honestly, he's not even the top 10 most talented quarterbacks ever to play the game. Not
You
even
are
top
a
10.
mean person.
He's not. He does not win on his own. He never has, and he never will. You can go look at the numbers in the Super Bowls. He does not win games on his own. It's just not a thing. He has to have defense. He's got to have scheme. It's just kind of what it is.
Are you sure you're not?
He's just not one of the top 10 most talented quarterbacks. Right?
You are mean.
He's not gifted like Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. He's very smart. He makes good plays, and he's had the benefit of having really good defense and solid coaches. But when it comes down to it, the more talented quarterbacks there's more talented quarterbacks than him like probably 5 more talented quarterbacks than him right now in the league. His prime. Like,
he's like 16 years away from being eligible for Social Security, and he's still
in his prime. In his prime.
You're not gonna give him
in
credit.
His prime. I think there's 5 quarterbacks in the league that are better than he was in his prime as far as talent goes.
Ooh, we have to do a whole new episode on this.
The Panthers suck. Cam Newton is trash. They just got beat by the Saints. They're going to beat the fuck out of these poor Panthers. They can't run the ball against this Tampa defense. Cam Newton can't throw, and the weakness for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is like the biggest weakness in the world, is that secondary. They're trash. But Cam can't throw. They're talking about playing Sam Darnold. At some point,
did you look at that? So what were they saying? Cam is going to start, but Darnold may play in that game?
Correct.
What?
Exactly. I know. I'm so confused. Like, is that going to make Cam play better? Because it sounds like it's going to make him play worse, thinking that, if I make one mistake, fucking Darnold's coming in. Is like, he going to start and run it, and then Darnold's going to come in and throw passes, and they're just going to switch on based off a read options, or what? I don't understand.
Do the opposite, because with that game that like PJ Walker started and then Cam came in just to run, and they won that game handedly. Do that.
Yeah.
Use Cam.
That's when Cam was back for a game.
Jesus.
When he didn't have to play much.
Oh my gosh. God, Cam. What a wild.
That's the only time he's back. Is if he runs fucking 2 snaps that are inside the 2-yard line, because he's unstoppable there. He's just a fucking wildcat fullback. But yeah, there's no reason the Buccaneers shouldn't just piss stomp that. Like, it's gonna be. I feel bad for our guy Mikey in this game, because it's just gonna be their butts are gonna hurt.
What about the lack of weapons though? Because obviously Godwin's like on the shelf for a while now. And
Brown's
Mike
back.
Evans Brown is back, but Evans is considered week to week. And I heard something today. One of the reporters said that he'd be like very unlikely to play. So you got AB, you got Gronk, you don't have Fournette. Like, they're down a lot of.
Ronald Jones is better than Fournette, anyways.
You are just full of just certainty in your takes today.
Yes, I'm confident that he's a better running back than Leonard.
They got Le'Veon Bell.
No,
they just don't have like their 2 go-tos in that situation. And AB's he'll get right back into the swing of things. And obviously Gronk is Gronk, but you're still missing 2 of like the top like 10 wide receivers in the NFL right now. And the Panthers do have their defense has been getting a little bit worse as they've kind of worked
Doesn't
their way
matter.
out of contention here. But I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate in a little bit of a
I
way.
just don't think they can score though. Like, how are the Panthers going to score points? Where do they score?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. They
I
don't have a
don't.
kicker half the time.
The only thing would have to be a DJ Moore slant to the house. Like, that's just one breakaway slant where he takes it. Like, that's the only guy who's supposed to do anything, and they can't even get the ball to him. Like, I don't understand.
When Zane Gonzalez got hurt in like pregame or whatever, and they were trying out kickers, did they have to try? Did they have to practice and like see who was good at onside kicks?
That
Did
was
they really
weird.
think it was going to come down to that?
I don't know. It was really weird that they were like checking onside kickers. And why can't the punter who like has some kind of kicking form fucking kick a field goal?
I'm guessing that like the head coach and the players that were like trying out for that were pissed at the punter, be like, dude, you kick the ball. Granted,
Yeah.
it's a different style and form and all that jazz, but you at least have the motion. You've got the hand-foot coordination. None of us are doing that shit. What are you doing in training camp when we're all running gassers and doing all this shit?
shit.
Shouldn't you be practicing onside kicks?
What's funny is it turned into like a goofy practice where they all were just fucking out there kicking balls like idiots. Like some of those guys look like they never kicked a ball. Like, how did you choose him to come out here and practice a kick?
Dude.
He's had never kicked a fucking ball in his entire life.
At
ever.
that point in time, when we saw that shit like on the pregame footage, it looked like they were just jerking around at that point in time. We should have bet all of our money on the Bills. Like, that team's just fucking off.
They are. They're out there just wow. Who can fucking try to kick it? They're all like me. Never fucking kicked a field goal in my entire life. These guys are kicking it with the toe. They're clean shit.
The Bills fans were all just laughing at people.
They might as well pull the fan out too. Just be like, fuck it.
Oh my god!
You try.
What an unbelievable that your kicker gets hurt and all of a sudden you just go into chaos mode and you start running everybody on the field. Everybody get in line. We're gonna kick. See what happens.
Can they like make a roster move to sign in like the kicking coach or something like that? Do they have a coach that kicks? Do these guys have a coach that kicked at some point?
I don't know, man. It's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Loaded box. Let's go on to one of mine here that you didn't have an official play on. The Raiders play the Broncos. I am to the point where I'm not looking forward to this game whatsoever. So
why did you pick this?
I'm taking your strategy. I'm betting on it. You got to make it interesting. Well, why am I betting on it? Is because I talk about this every offseason, how I'm like this closet Broncos fan because I like so many of their players and all they do is
you're just going to be disappointed no matter what you take.
All the time. And I will put this out to the listeners. I am taking the Raiders here in a pick 'em. Every time I either bet on or against the Broncos, I think this year I've been wrong. So if you want a guaranteed pick of the week, you should probably take the Broncos. But we got the Raiders coming off of a very terrible game against the Browns, but they got the win. They've got the momentum. They're in that playoff chase. Not that the Broncos aren't, but man, there just seems to be a difference between these two teams right now. The Broncos are inept, to say the least. Have you seen the stats of like balls attempted to wide receivers over the last like 4 weeks? There are individual wide receivers that have as much production, statistical production, as like all of the Broncos pass catchers right now over the last like 3 or 4 weeks. It is pathetic. Teddy Bridgewater not playing. Drew Lock is getting the start here. So I do like that from the Broncos perspective. But one thing we know about Drew Lock as well is he's likely damn near guaranteed for 1 to 2 just mistakes, probably going to turn into a turnover. I just like the Raiders here a little bit playing. I don't want to even call it playing the hot hand here. I just think that they look.
The hot hand?
They won last week compared to the Broncos.
What? Yeah. What is it about the Raiders that makes you think that they're the better team? They beat the Browns by 2 points with a last-second field goal.
I know.
And they had Nick Mullins playing quarterback, and they couldn't move the ball.
I didn't say it. That's why I said. That's why I added the. I'm missing the word here, but rather than saying the hot team,
Browns had like 11 guys on COVID. The Raiders didn't have like
a little bit of a hot hand. That's another funny fact because so they moved that game. The net gain of players that were eligible for that game for the Browns was 1.
Yeah.
They moved it and they gained one player. That's an amazing thing that happened. But yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
Like
it
I'm saying,
didn't.
I'm not over the moon confident in this one. I just want a little bit of action on this. I'm sick of the Broncos right now. They are just a terrible team to experience and watch. And I'm not like the Raiders are much better, but I think they're going to eke this one out. It's going to be ugly, but it's a pick'em game. Vegas is telling you it's going to be ugly, smash mouth, close game. Just take the Raiders. They're a little bit hotter than the Broncos right now.
They are doing the Raiders things where they suck in the second half of the season. There's nothing better about them than anybody.
Not even the Broncos.
Not nobody. At least the Broncos have smashed a couple of good teams. And
remember when Drew Lock handed the ball to the other team?
Yeah, but Nick Mullins was playing, so I'm not going to take into the fact that there's a backup quarterback that was starting last year. So it's like he knows the team. He's been on it for a while, so it's not like he's dramatically worse than a really bad Teddy Bridgewater either. They both suck.
Nick Mullins is historically great in his first performances for new teams.
He's not playing for the Niners.
I'm just saying, if you want a way to watch this game,
Gross.
You bet a little bit on the Raiders. Well, so what are you going to do? Would you bet a little bit on the Broncos?
I'm not going to bet a little bit on this game at all because no matter what happens, you're going to be disappointed at the end. It'll probably just be a tie game.
You are soft. You are Mr. I'm betting on every game. Sunday's going to come. You're going to bet on this game.
I promise you I will not bet on that game.
I'm calling your bluff fucking right now.
Such an ugly fucking thing. Not that one.
Let's go to your next one here. These two teams played like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
That was in that game that was completely just fucked by the weather. This time it's in New England. It's the Bills. It's the Patriots. What do you got?
Yeah, the weather isn't going to be a factor, hopefully, in this game here. I guess it could be in New England.
Might be. Who knows?
Fuck, I should check the weather forecast. But I think the Bills are just straight up on the Patriots. I think the Bills will end up winning the division. The Patriots are going to kind of fall off because really when it comes down to it, I mean, they're all defense and the run game there and protecting Mac Jones. And when he had to go to a second look last week, it was pretty odd. I mean, the interception he threw was not good. He didn't look great by any means. I have never been ready to crowd Mac Jones like the next Tom Brady, where all these Patriots fans are. Right. I think they're going to end up getting a wild card position. The Patriots ending up losing in the first round and continuing to disappoint these Patriots fans who are getting all excited. Right? I think the Bills are going to go back on that upward trajectory that the Bills are. They still have that solid defense. I don't know. They've been in a rut, but the Chiefs bounced back out of it. I just trust what I've seen in the last year and a half, obviously the last 5 whatever games. I'm just going to throw out the window just because I feel like I can. I finally came around on Josh Allen. I can't do the same thing I did where it's like the Carson Wentz thing. I can't Carson Wentz, Josh
Carson
Allen.
Wentz, yeah.
It took me so long. I finally did. Now I come around on Josh Allen, and is he going to be trash now? I hope not. But I like the money line here, the 0.2 units plus 115. I know they're 2-point dogs, but I just think straight up they're going to win this game as the Patriots kind of go on like a little cold streak. They just don't have the talent or anything besides the defense and a little bit of a run game, which eventually people are going to start stuffing and forcing Jones to look at that second guy where they're taking away, where they're playing tight coverage zones and taking away that first look where he's going to have to look around and make a decision later. And I think that's going to affect Mac Jones in these next few games. And he's going to look below average. He's going to look Tua-ish. And no, I like the Bills. I like the Bills here.
Oh, man.
Kevin Singletary had a great game last week.
So that's what I just pulled up his numbers. 22 carries. That's unheard of for the Bills in general.
Yeah.
22 carries for one guy. His yards per attempt weren't great, 3.9.
No.
Obviously, that can improve, but I will live on the hill that the Bills are a better team when they run the ball more, just because we all know they're a passing team and they're a good passing team. But if you can at least give the damn look that you're going to run every once in a while, your passing game is going to get taken to that next level damn near automatically. And that's what this team needs. Like they, excuse me.
And if Brian Daboll is this like genius, I mean, he's got He's got to change something, right? Everybody likes Dable, but all of a sudden the offense looks inept. It's got to change.
It's so funny because, man, last year we were talking like all these NFL draft things. It's like, oh, the Bills need to take a running back at the end of round 1, and we're like, no, the Bills just need to try to run the ball with
Yeah.
Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and they haven't really done it. And they did it last
What's
week.
Zach
Whatever.
Moss's
We just,
deal?
yeah, I don't know enough about that to comment, so I'll keep it shut.
Did he sleep with somebody's daughter or something? Like,
Yeah, he definitely slept with somebody. I don't know.
somebody's wife? Did he pull a Ed Orgeron and try to bang somebody at a gas pump, or what's the deal?
Ed Orgeron tried to bang somebody at a gas pump.
You don't know the Ed Orgeron deal?
No, but I need to.
He apparently was at like a gas station and some girl pulled up, and I guess he just sleeps around or whatever. And he wanted to take her home, and she's like, no. And it was some booster's wife, and they were pissed and they hated him because he was just straight up like trying to take her home at the gas pump at a gas station. It ended up being some booster's wife. It was a rumor. They went back. They just hate him. And they just fired him. And even though he went on this huge win streak where most coaches would have kept their job after the way LSU ended the season, they didn't care. They're just like, pay him this humongous buyout and get him out of here because he tried to bang some booster's wife. It was great.
Man, just trying to pump and dump, right? The old gas station. I like it.
Exactly.
It's not bad. Nope, didn't know that. I appreciate that insight. Speaking of which, when we wrap up, I do have one more question for you that I need to ask because I think you're going to have more insight than I do.
Always.
But the only thing, especially about this shit, what I was going to say is I was going back to the whole running idea and drafts. I started looking at a couple of mocks again recently, just preparing myself in case the Dolphins lose. I know that I got to start figuring out which websites I like and all that. So I dabbled a little bit. And I
like Vikings doing.
I'm seeing all this shit though. The Bills need to draft an early round running back. It's like, what do we know? Like, how do you guys know that Zach Moss and Devin Singletary aren't good? Like, just give them a fucking chance. Like, they could have drafted. I mean, who's great fucking young running back? I'm just blanking on a name right now. You could have given them
Javonte Williams.
You could have given them Javonte Williams. If they're not running the ball, the guy's not going to produce. It just comes down to that. So I'm beating a dead horse here, but run the ball just to give the goddamn illusion that you're going to do it every once in a while. And your Stephon Diggs, your Dawson Knox, your Gabe Davis, these guys are going to produce for you because it's only going to make them better. So long story long, I'm with you on this one. I just don't. I'm a broken record. I say this a lot in New England. I'm scared. I hate the idea of betting against the Patriots when they are at home. However, I'm going to consider it this time, and on game day, I probably will do like a minimum bet on this just because I think you were on the right side.
What do you think about my beard?
I'm assuming I'm going to chalk that up to the fact that you just don't have time and you're a little bit lazy and you're just getting stuffy.
I haven't shaved it since probably a week before I took paternity leave. So a week before the baby. And I'm just like, fuck it. I'm letting it go until the day I go back to work in January 3rd. So it's just going to get uglier.
Yeah, dude. I haven't gotten I'm like 3 or 4 weeks behind on like a haircut. And I know you say it doesn't matter because my hair is ugly and sucks anyways.
Yeah. So you have a beak on your hair mimics your nose. You have a beak on top of your head.
No, my hair doesn't grow like down. My hair literally grows out. Like it grows to the side. It's like a science experiment. It's like I grabbed the ball and like it shook and like my hair goes out. That's
your
how
hair and
goes.
nose look the same. They grow to you have a pointy nose, you have pointy hair, your hair and nose are the same like shape. It's really
and
fucking
I'm getting
weird.
more hair in my nose coincidentally.
I've got a lot of my ears I discovered, and it just keeps going back at an intense pace. Anytime I try to shave it out, it just comes back even angrier. It's fucking awful.
You're just pissing it off. DJ, the question I wanted to ask you was I saw a headline about I forgot, is Aaron Rodgers married or is it a fiance?
He's engaged.
I read something that they have a non-traditional relationship. What does that mean?
I have no idea. I did not know
wait. Mr. Current Events, Mr. Aaron Rodgers doesn't know this?
I don't know what's non-traditional about it, but I know they're kind of weird with like their beliefs and shit, but I don't think they're like banging other people on the side from what I know.
I think they are.
They're just doing drugs or some shit.
Oh,
I don't know.
she makes like her own like medicine.
Yeah, she eats clay.
She eats clay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's weird. He likes weird
I'm
people. Danica was into like rocks, like type of rocks. He's into he's into weird people.
and she likes NASCAR.
And NASCAR.
Um,
Oh,
I'm
me and
I'm
Aubrey
trying
were talking.
to.
My wife were talking about this tonight, and how we had a conversation during one of our podcasts about what NASCAR looked like 2 years ago. And I remember, or what it meant. And I googled it. I remember, and the first thing that popped up was non-athletic sports centered around rednecks, and I still laugh about it. It was fucking great.
Yep.
Oh
Yep. No,
fuck.
that's fantastic. No,
No,
I
I don't know
didn't.
what that means.
I just skimmed an article, and I don't know. Some there's some weird stuff here. Um, she, I know Aaron's body very well, very well. First off, his feet, ahem, and no offense to this rando dude, are a
Oh, that's
lot bigger.
no. That's just that was when he got COVID, and somebody
COVID.
said they spotted him in California or whatever, but it was just some random dude that she
Oh,
just picked fucking apart from head to toe. Just destroyed
gotcha.
the poor guy who was just getting a fucking coffee on a Saturday morning
Oh no.
because he wasn't
Oh,
Aaron Rodgers.
unbelievable. All right. Well, that wasn't as good as I was hoping it was. I thought
No,
maybe they
that
were
sucked.
banging like different people and stuff. Weak.
Nope.
All right. Well, since I failed at giving this show a happy ending, can you do it?
Is that all I have? Is that all the bets I had?
That's all. Well, we had so many that overlapped.
Fuck, man. I thought I had like 15 more bets. That's disappointing. I didn't realize we were to
No,
the end.
it's
But
fine.
I'm sure my wife's mad at me.
Well, that and on Sunday you'll add a pick on that Raiders Broncos game anyway.
No, absolutely not. That's a disaster.
All right. Well, are you gonna try to get back to that kid, or what's your plan
Yeah,
for
I
the
thought you
rest
were
of the night
gonna. I
here?
thought you were gonna ask me about like Omicron or whatever it's called. There's something going on. I thought it was gonna be something really weird and political.
No, I
Omicron's
wanted
a
to.
pussy, by the way. Omicron's weak. It spreads really fast, but you get like tired a little bit and some cold symptoms. So fucking bring out Omicron.
I
Omicron's
feel
the pussiest of all of them.
if those are actually the symptoms, I've had that for 34 years.
Yeah, Omicron. It's literally like, yeah. I saw some really bad like conservative joke about it, but it's just the pussiest of all of them. It's like fucking bring Omicron on. Let's pass it. That's what everybody has out in the NFL and NBA and all those other sports. It's just, and nobody's even really that affected by it. It's great.
No, it is what it is. Hopefully, no one else on my fantasy team gets it because I'm getting real sick of trying to fucking play the waiver wire week 16 here. It's
It's worked
bullshit.
out for my favor this whole time, so I
Eat
love
my
it.
butt. All right. With that, I don't have the thing in front of me, so let's see what we can got. As always, check us out on Twitter at Loaded Box. The website is loadedboxpodcast.com. We're available everywhere. Subscribe, rate, review. We'll be back next week with week 17. And with that, I think I did a good job there. DJ, send us into Christmas.
Bye.